everyone, I'm here today to do the second part of my February book haul, and this part will contain all of the adult books and also one young adult. Many of the books that I have to show you today are books that I found through a booktube channel, and that is Mercedes booktube channel. I think it's called Mercedes Bookish Musings. I will put the link to it down below, but definitely go check her out because she has some amazing recommendations and some amazing videos as well. The first book I have to show you is A Tale for the Time Being by Ruth Ozeki. This is one of the books that was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize back in 2013, and alone for that I'm interested to read it, but also because a lot of people have this on their favorites list. I'm currently reading it and I'm actually only about 100 pages short of finishing it, and so far so good. I'm going to tell you more about it in my March wrap-up because this book needs some talking about. Next I have Cloud Atlas by David Mitchell, and I actually recently bought another book by David Mitchell. Let me just show you. I recently bought The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell as well, and I haven't read this, so why would I buy another book by him without reading this one first? That is because apparently this book takes place in the same world as this book, but this book comes first. So I wanted to read this first and then read this one, and then I will have read two books by David Mitchell, who is a very acclaimed author. Apparently this book is a mix-max of a lot of genres and a lot of time periods and a lot of characters, and it's going to be quite confusing, I think, because I'm not very good at reading those kinds of books, but at the same time I'm so intrigued, so this was definitely coming home with me. Next is Deathless by Catherine M. Valente, who is also the author of The Girl Who Circumnavigated the Earth in a Ship of Her Own Making series, the book with the longest title. Anyway, I read that book last year. I didn't really like it. I was okay with it, but it wasn't one of my favorites. But then I heard that this one was out and it's supposed to be amazing. It's supposed to be a retelling of Russian folklore, Russian folk tales, and it's supposed to be quite a read, so yes. I also have Among Others by Jo Walton. I have already read one other book by Jo Walton, which was called My Real Children. However, this book is very different from that one. This one is fantasy adult fiction, and that's basically all I know. It was a winner of the Hugo Award and the Nebula Award. Winner of 2 awards. A lot of people that I really trust say that this is amazing, so I had to get it. I also have Dear Life by Alice Munro, who is the winner of the Nobel Prize back in 2013. And Alice Munro is an amazing short story author. I've already read another short story collection by her, and I will get more into that in my February wrap-up, but I needed to get something else by her, and I got this book, and yes, it's another short story compilation, and it's supposed to be amazing. She has a way of writing that really touches you, and that's something that I really admire. Next is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel, which has been getting a lot of hype here on BookTube lately. I love this cover. It's different from the American one, which is black. And it's basically about a post-apocalyptic world in which we follow some characters. We start in the beginning of a play by Shakespeare, and one of the main characters falls down dead on stage, and that's when the story starts. And yes, I'm intrigued to get started and see why so many people seem to like it. Then I have Birdsong by Sebastian Faulds, which I think is considered a classic, but it's a very modern classic then, because it's from the 1990s. I've already read this one and I loved it. I have heard so many mixed reviews about this book, but I loved it, and I will get more into that in my wrap-up. This is a book about the First World War, and I haven't read a lot of books about that war, so this was a pleasant read. No, it wasn't a pleasant read, don't get me wrong, but it was interesting to actually read about another war that is not Second World War. And then the last 2 books I have to show you are 2 books that I was sent for review. The first one is a young adult fantasy fiction, and that is Nightblade by Garrett Robinson. I was actually supposed to read this in February, but I never got around to it, so I will be reading this in March, hopefully. It is about a main character, a woman who wants to become a thief. However, I think she's very bad at it. She always needs to escape, she always needs to flee, and then start all over. But it sounds interesting. I have been on a fantasy kick lately, so I wanted to get a review copy of this book. The last book is Perfect by Rachel Joyce. It has a longer title in Danish, I know, but it's still the same book. It's called Perfect in America and in the UK. I've already reviewed this novel, so I'm not going to go much into what it's about. I will put the link to that review down below, but it is basically about how time can change, how things can change for you if you add some seconds to time. Yes. That is it for the second part of my book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Happy reading, everyone. Bye bye.